while for the last 3 months, every single month has consecutively been the worst month we've ever had for sales. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this month mirrors that forecast. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the worst month ever of all time. But I'm also going to say that I won't be surprised if February's numbers show a pretty rapid turnaround. I'm not saying we're going to be on par from where we were before, but I think we're reaching the end of these depressed sales months. Now, the major factor that we need to look at towards the future, right? Because we all kind of get engrossed in the moment and what's going on, but it's more important to look at what's next, what's coming, and how can we be in a position to succeed rather than be reactive to the market. So, one thing that you really, really need to focus on is the fact that, and again, I'm not talking nationally, even though this is a national problem, but specifically here in Vegas. I talk about Las Vegas because that's what I know, and it would be a little egregious of me to push that narrative towards the rest of the country. So I'm not trying to be arrogant there. But here in Las Vegas, the one issue that we have is this. Our inventory, like it typically happens this time of year, has depleted month by month, week by week consecutively, and we're still going down. This is normal activity, so it's nothing worth freaking out about. However, we're in a disastrous market, the worst sales that we've ever had. And for us here in Las Vegas, we're sitting at around 6,000 homes. Now, that means nothing to you, but to bring edification to that, in a normal market, in normal times, we sell about 3,000 homes a month. Right now, we're only selling, 1,300 homes. This month might only be 1,100. So right now, it looks like we have a 5-month supply of inventory, which technically is defined as a balanced market, right? We can debate that, but technically that's just a balanced market. It feels terrible because we're not used to any normality here in Las Vegas. But think about this, guys. The moment this market turns around, because it's going to turn around, nothing remains stagnant forever. So at some point in time, and we can argue that. We can argue whether it's this spring. We can argue whether it's going to be next summer. I don't care what the argument is. But at some point in time, this market will turn around. But consider the fact that when this market turns around, let's just say we just produce normal numbers. When we get back to 3,000 sales a month, that's a 2-month supply of inventory. 2 months. That's nothing. Now, consider this. The longer, just like I was concerned about prices rising, right? The more prices rise, you're going to have a crash of descent. The higher you get, the harder the fall. So for years, I had been saying, I kind of hope that we manage to plateau and not fall off a cliff. Now we fell off a cliff, but this is different than last time. The big issue we're going to see is the longer this goes on, the more we're going to have buyers that are sitting on the sidelines, waiting and salivating to jump back in. So the longer we have these holdouts, the more of like a backflow you create. It's more pressure. So what ended up happening in 2012 was we had a terrible market. We had recession. Property values here in Vegas dropped by 50%. We really bottomed out in 2011. But what happened is at a certain point in time, everyone woke up and realized that the prices then made absolutely no sense. When homes were selling for substantially less than the land was worth, investors said, you know what? The cap rates are through the roof. Who cares? I don't care. And everyone started buying as investors. Once those investors jumped in, other people felt comfortable because we saw that wheel spinning. And then all of a sudden, overnight, everyone came out and everyone was buying, and we had multiple offers. And that started the trend of the decade where we kept seeing these price increases. While this is different than 2008, this is very similar symptoms as far as I think what we're going to see moving forward. So what you're going to see moving forward is whether it's this spring, whether it's the summer, or whether this takes an entire year for the market to recover, the longer it takes to recover, the more brisk the recovery is going to be. So guys, I'm telling you right here, right now, as crazy as this sounds, and maybe this sounds hyperbolic, but the reality is once this market turns around, you're going to have fights over properties. You're going to have multiple offers, and it's kind of going to be going back to where it was, only because we don't have inventory. We don't have inventory. And the only way to create inventory is to motivate sellers to sell.